was a dark and stormy night, and I found myself alone in our old, creaky house. My parents had gone out for a late dinner, and the only company I had was the howling wind and the occasional flash of lightning. I had always been a bit uneasy when left alone in the house, especially during thunderstorms. I decided to distract myself by watching some TV in the living room. I nestled into the couch with a blanket and began flipping through the channels. The rain outside intensified, drumming against the windows like phantom fingers. As I tried to focus on a movie, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. A sudden power outage plunged the house into darkness, and I gasped, clutching the blanket tighter. I fumbled for my phone to use its flashlight, and my heart pounded in my chest as I scanned the room, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The storm outside raged on, and the sounds seemed to get closer, as if something was moving around the house. I called my parents, but the call went straight to voicemail. Panic set in as I realized I was truly alone in the dark, in this old, unsettling house. I cautiously made my way to the kitchen to find some candles. Just as I lit the first one, I heard a faint whisper, a voice barely audible above the storm. My heart froze. "Who's there?" I stammered, but there was no response. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination, but then I heard it again, this time closer. "Come out," the voice urged, chilling me to the bone. Trembling, I followed the voice down the hallway, candle in hand, my steps faltering with each creak of the floorboards. As I reached my bedroom, the voice grew more distinct, and I could now make out words. "You're not alone," it hissed, and I felt a cold breath against my ear. I spun around, but there was no one there. The candle flickered wildly, as if reacting to an unseen presence. Terrified, I dashed out of the room and down the stairs. The front door was my only escape, but as I reached for the handle, it wouldn't budge. Panic surged as I heard footsteps behind me, slow and deliberate. I turned, and there, at the bottom of the stairs, was a shadowy figure. Its eyes glowed an eerie red, and a malevolent grin stretched across its face. I couldn't move, paralyzed by fear. It began to ascend the stairs, one step at a time, its chilling laughter echoing through the house. I finally broke free from my fear-induced paralysis and sprinted back up the stairs, slamming my bedroom door shut and locking it. I huddled in the corner, clutching the candle, praying that whatever was in the house couldn't get to me. The storm outside raged on, but the house fell silent. Minutes felt like hours as I waited, the candle burning low. Just when I thought the nightmare was over, I heard a soft tapping on the window. I slowly turned my head to see a ghastly face pressed against the glass, its hollow eyes fixed on mine. I screamed and dropped the candle, plunging the room into darkness once more. The figure outside continued to tap, tap, tap on the window, each sound like a nail in my coffin. I covered my ears, but the tapping persisted, growing louder and more insistent. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the tapping stopped. The storm outside gradually subsided, and the power came back on. I cautiously emerged from my room, my heart pounding, but the figure was gone. My parents returned home to find me shaken and terrified. I tried to explain what had happened, but they insisted it was just my imagination running wild. To this day, I'm not sure if it was real or a product of my fear, but one thing is certain. I'll never forget that night when I was home alone in the darkness, with something sinister lurking in the shadows.